Welcome to Quantum Quest Conversations. I'm your host, Megan.
And I'm your host, Haydee.
The podcast where curious conversations lead the way into awakening, growth, and infinite discovery. Whether you're just beginning your quest or deep in your awakening, you'll find inspiration through stories, lessons, and personal experience. Settle in, open your heart, and let curiosity lead the way.
All right, so welcome to our episode number 2. And today we're going to be interviewing Meghan. She's a co-host here in the Quantum Quest Conversations with Meghan and Haydee. And so, well, thank you for letting me interview you today. I really appreciate it. I think I'm going to enjoy this because, as you well said last time, we haven't seen each other. We just met, like, all we know, it's through text message.
Yeah.
Short phone calls. And so this is going to be very enlightening for us and for everybody to get to know us.
Yes.
So tell me about your journey. How did you end up doing what you're doing? We mentioned that we met through the mediumship class. So I guess to start is where we met. How did you end up in that mediumship class?
Yeah. So my story is different from yours, where mediumship was not like normal. You said, you had relatives that were psychics and healers, and, that kind of stuff seemed like normal to you. I was so blindsided by this gift coming to me, and I am so grateful. Just because I was blindsided doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. I am so grateful to have this gift of mediumship. But my story is similar in a way with how yours is my dad passed away. Actually, it'll be a year next week. So he had a terminal illness and was diagnosed like a year prior to that. So he got diagnosed and then lived about a little over a year and then passed away. So my journey, I feel like, kind of started when my dad was diagnosed with cancer. And it was like I was going through the grieving process when he was alive, because they said it was going to be, very quick and sudden. And so we thought, only months. But during that time, there was just a lot of family drama, unfortunately. And I feel like I just didn't get to spend the quality time with my dad as I would want to. And it honestly put me like in a depression, and going through that, and then just being a mom and kids and just all the stress of life hitting you all at once. I thought I was having like a mental breakdown, and I think I was. And basically it just, I was always like, go, 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 go. I have very high energy, always on the move, always like, what's the next thing going to happen? Coordinating my kids' schedules. It was just my brain. It was like a reel that just was like, it just never wanted to stop. Anyways, when my dad got diagnosed, it shut me down. I just would lay in bed and I was just depressed, and the outside world didn't really see it, but I was having my own, just breakdown. But anyways, it silenced my mind, and I couldn't think anymore. I felt like I hit a wall where like no other thought could come through. And when I was able to shut all my thoughts off, all of a sudden it was like a switch flipped in my head. And all of a sudden, like what you were talking about in your episode of being able to like channel or get messages or downloads or anything like that, like, so that stuff started happening to me, and it was just like overnight. And I had to like Google everything and be like, okay, what does this mean? I feel like I knew like a spirit was around me. So once I got my dad's diagnosis, I clearly remember saying in my head, like, wow, the next funeral I go to is going to be my dad's. Like, gosh, that makes me sick to my stomach to think that. No, God always has a different plan. I ended up going to like 5 funerals before
Wow.
my dad passed away. It was like, boom, like it was just crazy. It was like a friend passed away. Um, my husband's great aunt passed away. My cousin's son, young son, like tragically passed away. My aunt passed away. I mean, it was it was crazy. So with all these deaths and funerals I was going to, I I would like hear like they would come to me. It was like almost like a light bulb was on him like above my head that said like she has the ability now, like come to her. And I would get messages from all these people that like passed away. And that's kind of who first came and how I learned that I had this ability. And then I opened up to my husband, and he was like the only person that knew about it. But I was raised like very strict Catholic, and like this just wasn't talked about. Like my mind is blown about like the whole spiritual world. I feel so naive that I did not know anything like about any of this. Like I didn't even know that you could like heal with energy, like the Reiki. I mean, I ended up taking those courses. Like so basically once this flip or the switch flipped in my head, I just signed up for like every course like imaginable. So I did Suzanne Giesman's class, and then Victoria Bonds. I like was drawn to her. Everybody I've taken a class through, I feel like I was just like kind of drawn to them. I feel like, I just got on YouTube and it was just like there, like Victoria Bond. And I just, no thought in my head, I just like signed up for her course. But anyways, so I took a lot of courses. I did the Reiki. I did it all. um, so during this journey, I feel like it just keeps evolving, and I still don't know where it's going to end. I'm like just super excited because it started out with like mediumship, and now I'm more in a phase where it's channeling, and my channeling is very like physical, appears on my face, um, and I'm connecting, which is actually like easier, and I like it, to higher realms. Like I used to like be able to bring, well, I mean, I can't, but I started off like bringing people's relatives through like on my face. And now it's just like evolved to where like Jesus, Mary, Joseph, angels, archangels, like just it is, it's crazy. So anyways, that is what led me to sign up for that mediumship courses. I was just on this journey. These abilities came to me. I didn't really understand them because I just didn't grow up in that kind of world, and it led me to that mediumship course where I found you.
And like you said, only your husband knew. How do you feel now? Do you feel ready to tell your whole family? Because it can be such a lonely place to be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Um,
I've opened up to some of my family, but some of the, well, as you know, so being like now I realize like I'm a psychic, I'm a medium. I can like you were talking about on your episode that like being an empath, I can feel people's feelings. Like it doesn't matter what people say to me. I can feel what you're truly feeling.
mhm.
So, even some of the people that I thought would really support me or be excited, I could feel a different feeling coming from them. And I don't blame them by any means. Like this was so brand new to me too. And I look back and I laugh all the time of, even though I had no idea, like I I clearly like my true self truly knew, because I was not surprised by the ability at all. It wasn't like I was scared. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, what is this? Oh, someone's relatives talk, like I was just like, oh, like this is exciting. Bring on more. Like so I think, my soul, at the soul level, I knew, and it was so normal to me. But my human level, it was a complete shock. But anyways, it is very, I struggle with opening up to people about it because I've been burned, you know, too many times where I feel like I thought someone would be genuinely like excited or at least interested, and some of the comments I get back, it just shuts me down. So I am not like excited to just like make some huge announcement. Um, but they're hopefully they listen to the podcast and hopefully they learn something and realize, I'm not crazy, and this is a gift that came from God, and that I'm following my heart, and I'm so happy. Like and the like healing people with being able to bring their loved ones through, to let them know you can get a message from them again, like it wasn't the last time, kind of. There's closure, there's love, there's just, man, if people that didn't believe in this stuff like could feel the feelings that come through during like a mediumship reading or channeling, like the healing that takes place, like there would be no doubt in anybody's mind. um but sadly a lot of people block that, and don't even want to give it a chance. So yeah, I'm not, well, hopefully they hear the podcast and and they'll learn more, but I don't think I'm gonna like formally make an announcement.
Yeah, it feels, I don't know if you, well, I'm sure you might feel just as happy to get to know more people like you, because then you feel like you have a tribe. You're not that misunderstood anymore. There's people that get you.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, I have found an amazing tribe on this journey. I remember like, oh, just crying and breaking down and so sad, like, because it's lonely when this is first happening to you and you can't tell anybody, or the people that you told, kind of turn their nose up at it. You feel so lonely and you feel heartbroken. And like I remember like praying and like, God, please give me some comfort, give me some friends, give me, and I got someone gave me a reading, and it was my dad that came through and said that I'm gonna have really close friends. And I was just thinking like, I think you're lying. No, because you're just late in your life, and I don't know. But anyways, the friends I have made on this journey has been absolutely amazing. So God came through, my dad came through. you know, it's been cool.
The whole gang got together again.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so, how do you feel that these it's beneficial for your marriage, or is it not beneficial to your marriage?
So my husband was, well, I shouldn't say was, he still is, he my number one supporter. He every time, actually, when I first opened up to him about him, like, and I would even try to like go into more detail, like, because I felt like he would just wasn't giving me, because I was still like, wow, can you believe this came through? Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, like, the evidence that I was getting, like there was just no doubt that spirit came through and someone's loved one came through, like the evidence I was able to tell somebody. And I mean, it's still to this day like amazes me. And I remember like I would tell him, and his reaction would just be like, "Oh, nice." And he has kept me humble. He has kept me so humble. But he would always say, because I would be like, "What? Like you're not shocked by this? Like that is crazy that I, was able to pull that out." And he's like, "No, it just like seems normal. Like it seemed like, yeah, like he's like, I think I've always had like a deep knowing that like this stuff is all real and everything." And and that, I mean, it was the same with me. Like when this first started, I had this ability that I discovered. It wasn't a shock. Like I'm still like excited every time like specific evidence comes through, but like and I get excited every time like I feel like I open up some new ability, but it's not like surprising though. Like it's not, it's just like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It's just, and anyways, that's how he kind of feels about it. So I think so back to like about our marriage, it is interesting. So I think the trouble that we have, or I don't want to say trouble, but the struggles that we have is being able to open up to family about it, because if family doesn't believe it, are they thinking his wife or, or friends or anybody, like, are they thinking, oh, his wife is crazy? Like, no one's ever said that to him, but I think it's, I think it's just something that it puts a strain on a marriage, I think so. Because I think he would want to defend me and not hear people say anything, bad about me or something if they didn't believe like what I do. So it's a struggle.
And also, I wanted to ask you, so you have your own TikTok channel, right?
Oh, I do.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So it's so funny. I had gotten off social media years ago, and then I feel like God slowly keeps putting back in my life for like work purposes. But I said I was never going to be on TikTok, but now I find myself on it. Um, it's just kind of a way for me to practice, challenge myself, share like my abilities and like my journey. I felt a calling. I know it sounds crazy, like a calling to go on TikTok, but I really did, like, just to share my voice. There's a lot of people out there that these abilities like are activating, and they don't know what to do with it, or they don't know what's happening, or like, so it's to give people like that voice. And then something like I mentioned earlier about like when spirit blends with me, it is like it physically shows up on my face, so you can kind of see who's coming through, which is very different. That was huge for me to share that. Like if you would have asked me, a year ago, I would have said, you are crazy. I would never show people how my face like distorts into into somebody else's face, or even if it's like an archangel or something like that coming through, like, yeah, my face, like my eyes flutter if it's like an angel, like just different things. I was so embarrassed when this first started like happening to me. I didn't even really know about channeling. What's interesting is the first time I heard about channeling was through Suzanne when I took her course, and she channels Sanaya. Her lip twitches when Sanaya comes through, and that was the first thing that happened to me. Well, so one, the first time I watched that happen, I had this knowing in my head. So for the last like year, I would say I had a knowing that I was going to be a channeler. Like I just knew, like I am meant to be a channeler. It's just been sitting in the back of my head, brewing up, waiting to come forward. Um, but then the lip twitch. So I remember the first time it was like in front of like my husband and some family and friends. I was like trying to like, oh, let me show you this new ability I have. I can do mediumship. So I'm thinking like just nothing, like my face is not gonna move. I'm just gonna have like spirit come through. I'm gonna, no, my face, like my lip, and they all just started like laughing about it. And they're like, oh my gosh, I can't even make my lip do that. How did she make her lip do that? And I was like, ready. I was so embarrassed. And I was like, I am not doing this in front of anybody ever again.
Little did you know.
Little did I know God had a calling for me. So then, yeah, it was just actually Victoria Bond, one of my mentors and teachers. She is just amazing about pushing you to your limits and being like, who cares? You know, she'll use the F word, like, who the F cares? Just do it. Like, just do it. And so I've always had kind of had her in the back of my head too, just cheering me on. And but I just knew it was something I had to do. I had to overcome my own like fear of like who cares what people think about my face, you know? So
Right.
anyway, so I started that TikTok. So a lot of it is I put like inspirational things too. So I think what people don't know, I guess because I also don't say it, but a lot of the quotes I put on TikTok are they were channeled to me. So it was like a message I got during like a channeling, and it came through, and I'll like jot it down real fast, and then I'll like post a quote like on TikTok. So I have quotes up there, like inspirational ones, and those are like channel messages. Um, and then I'll just do like kind of like behind the scenes of like a reading so people can kind of see like just the journey, because I'm still like a new young medium channeler psychic like trying to learn my way. So it's also just trying to show people like they're not alone, and you know, just kind of show them behind the scenes so they can see like my process, and everybody's process is different, but like how I get certain information or just different things like that. So
Would you like to share the channel's name?
um it's I'm like, I gotta look it up. I'm like, I don't even know what it's called. Clarity Calls is like my at Clarity 980, and my name's Clarity Calls. So Clarity Calls, that came from channeling. I just kept like clarity, 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 and it was a word that just kept coming to me anytime I uh, was thinking about like work wise and in starting a new business and what am I supposed to be doing with all this. And I knew that I was supposed to use the word clarity. So then what I started like during my mediumship like practice sessions, what ended up happening is like it would just go more into a channeling. Like I would, people's loved ones would come through, but then it was just like, because I had like the psychic and the channeling and the mediumship, it was almost just like a blend of all of it. Like my guides would come through and give advice, and then um, people's loved ones would come through, but then I could just pick up people's feelings like through the psychic. So I was kind of blending all of it, and I was thinking, okay, so am I meant to be like a medium? Do I offer mediumship readings? Like, am I meant to be, you know, a psychic medium? Well, now what the heck? Channeling starting to happen to me. Am I supposed to just be a channeler? So I was getting so confused. And then again, during meditation, like kind of like a message that came to me is like, you don't you don't have to necessarily define it. Like a lot of people are coming in just to find clarity in their lives. Like they're hoping that a loved one's going to come through, you know, whether it's just to give them some kind of clarity, but everybody has stuff going on in their life that they just need more clarity in their life. So that's where clarity calls. So I'll have a call that we just set an intention to find some clarity in your life. And I mean, it has been really crazy and profound what's come through, just honest to God, even the last week of like um the universe. Like it came through like channeling, and it's like referred to itself as like the universe came through. Um I've had like Joseph come through, and the lady said, I would have probably been like, why did Joseph just come through? But I was just looking at a picture of myself dressed up as Joseph this morning. And I was you know, teasing my mom, how come I always have to be dressed up as Joseph in the nativity? You know, I'm a girl. Why couldn't I have ever been married? And I'm like, what are the odds? You know, there's no coincidences. So for that to happen that same morning, and then I was able to bring Joseph through, and then he provided, you know, some clarity in her life about a completely, you know, different issue. But it really is amazing how it all works. But yeah, Clarity calls,
Your
look it up on TikTok.
and your voice changes too. I noticed
Yeah,
it
yeah,
does too. At the beginning, like you said, I remember when we were in a class and you said, "Ooh, my lip is twitching."
yeah.
And then it went to your whole face, and now it's your voice too. That's pretty interesting because it's not something you can fake. You
No,
know, it just comes natural. And you can tell it's a
yeah.
very natural thing. And so I was gonna ask you, are you taking clients?
Yeah, so I do have a website. It's megan-mason.com. And I just am calling it clarity calls because to me, I'm like, I truly trust, in spirit and God, and whatever is meant to come through is going to come through. I think sometimes if we narrow it down so much to just be like, this is mediumship, like I've done mediumship practices where I knew it was a guide that came through, and this person's like, nope, this is mediumship. Guides are not supposed to come through. Like, I don't believe in that. And I'm like, okay, well, I do, and I can tell that's who you have right now. So, anyways, to me, I'm like, I don't want to be put in a box. I want to, be open, be free, and let whatever come through. But and that's why I call it a clarity call. Find clarity.
Perhaps we are in the stage of like, how children they play and they do whatever they want to do and
Yeah.
but it's not until you're older that you decide. And so right now we're in our playground and we're learning and I'm sure that God is going to be forming each day more and more your path,
Oh yeah.
you know. But it's a beautiful thing that you're experiencing all this and that
Yeah.
you're being supported by your family
Yeah.
and now your friends too, that
Yeah.
you have, like your dad said, lots of friends.
Yeah. Yeah. It is really crazy. Like the people that I've met and that's come into my life, and it's been so like, man, divine timing. It is, I mean, there's no coincidences. I say that all the time. Like that is spirit helping us out, putting things together, but God, that is what it is.
What's your one of your favorite lessons that you or memories that you have from any of your classes that have stuck to you and that has shaped? Because we hear a lot of things, but there's not a lot of things that help shape us, you know?
Yeah. I would say and actually I'm repeating her class and it starts tomorrow. So I would say the class that I got the most out of, uh, and this is, I guess, just my preference, is Victoria Bond. She is not, um, she was just what I needed. She let you uh do your like have your own style, I should say. She lets you have your own style, bring whatever you're bringing to the table, whether you want to do oracle cards or tarot cards or psychic, or if you want to do mediumship, or if channeling, like
Mm.
whatever it is that you do, like she was very welcoming to it. It was not, there was no like rigidness about it. She taught like what I really liked, but like she taught about keeping yourself safe. Like, and I think that's a lot of fears of people that don't know much about, you know, mediums or channelers, people that can talk to spirit, about keeping yourself safe. Like, I call upon Saint Michael the Archangel all the time to protect me. That's actually he was one of the first like came to me. Like he came to me in my bedroom. Like I saw his shadow, and that was like in the very beginning of like realizing I was a medium, and I just knew he came to protect me. And since then, I always call upon him and have him protect me, protect this house. I clear my energy. There's different rituals that Victoria taught about that. So I think just her like encouraging us to be ourselves and not so much focus on like how we do like the type of mediumship that we want to do, but she really encouraged us or like taught us to like protect ourselves, from negative energy or like she taught more like, I don't know, just yeah, being clean, being I don't know. But I liked her style. It was just very more independent, I guess.
Yeah, I've heard that she's such a sweet person when she talks. I like the way she speaks with a lot of love.
Oh yeah.
You can see it in her eyes. That's a very, very nice thing. And so what is your plan from here to a year, or you just gonna let it flow with spirit?
Oh, Heidi, I think you know as much as I do. We're not in control of that.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, honestly, as I've never been a planner and I'm still not a planner. And I think I truly believe like go with the flow. If we get too, I think it's definitely like have dreams, have goals, have your eye on the prize. However, like you have to be able to roll with the punches. And like to me, I'm like, I keep learning new things every day. Like, I mean, I could say like, oh, be a successful channeler. Like, what if some that evolves to even something different? Or what if like, I mean, a year ago I thought, oh, for sure, I'm just gonna be like a medium. And I'm thinking like, no, no. Like, I don't think mediumship is really my like true calling. I think it's more like channeling and using my voice is what I think it is. So yeah, I where I'm gonna be in a year, I don't know. I'm excited. I'll tell you that. I'm very excited. I know that there's a plan. I had bought podcast equipment like a year ago, and I again like I get these certain callings and just like knowing like I am supposed to do this. And sometimes like we don't know when the timeline is. We just keep following the breadcrumbs. So that's what I'm doing. Hopefully, me and you are doing this a year from now, enjoying ourselves and learning as much as we can.
I'm into that. And you said something that I really liked about Victoria's class that she lets you be, and bring who you are to the table, which is very different from other classes we've taken.
Yeah,
But because, I feel like spirit, which is in us too,
yeah.
it's like water. It takes the shape of the container it
Hmm.
is in, and it uses our strengths and weaknesses as tools, And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think that who we are shouldn't be contained. It should be used for the best, for the better. And yeah, we need to keep growing as human beings, but that's very important for us to bring the goodness and even our weaknesses to the table.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important. And so, would you like to share with the public about yourself or what is important? Something that you want them to keep in their hearts from today's podcast.
I think like to have an open mind. And I think that's the point of this podcast is, you and I are both very curious and we're excited. And it's like even once we just started diving into different mediumship classes and learning about different things, like spiritually, uh, it's okay to like take what you want and leave what doesn't fit you. Like, but just be curious and have an open mind is all, I hope that our audience does. And, you know, don't don't judge something that you just don't understand. Like ask more questions. Like if you don't understand it, ask more questions and be curious.
Yeah, stay like children, right?
Yes,
Always
definitely.
curious. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I also wanted to ask you, what's the most beautiful thing you have felt about spirituality?
Oh my gosh. I would say the love. Like it brings me to tears sometimes. A lot of times. I know. Let's be honest. Um, if people will definitely like if people could feel the love that I feel when I am blending with spirit, like I promise this whole world would just everybody would just love each other. It it just gives me like the most warm like and I feel literally feel like I'm being hugged like in real life by spirit and it is a beautiful feeling that keeps bringing me back for more and um I mean I can ask the spirit at any time like I feel lonely or I just want to feel hugged or loved or I mean whoosh they just come right in. It is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, perspective in life starts changing more each time, right?
Oh yeah.
Things that you used to deem as important lose their value, and things you were not paying attention to now they take center stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it is crazy how lonely I felt like in the beginning of this journey. And like now, like I have a better relationship with my spirit guides and just being able to acknowledge that I am not alone. Man, if other people could acknowledge that you are not alone. You have so many people like loved ones, guides, angels, like just so much love surrounding you. If people could feel that, or I mean, you could if you just start acknowledging it. That's all. I don't know. You just won't be lonely anymore. You would realize, wow, I'm really not alone.
Wow, what you just said made me think that it's like if we are children in a preschool
Mm-hmm.
and we are all pretending to know it all and to be, selfish or all these things that us as humans can be. But the reality is that we're nothing but little kids and we're being protected by the teachers that are there. And all we need is to see, change our perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. That was like really beautiful
Oh,
to see it
thank
that
you.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one more last thing you would like to say before we say goodbye.
Um, just thank you for tuning in. Thank you for us to be able to share our voices and follow our dreams. I'm excited for this journey.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm excited to interview people, to keep learning and
Oh
growing.
yeah.
I think that's the best part of the journey is to be students.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, students of life. Well, thank you so much
Yeah,
for your
thank you.
wisdom and your love and your compassion in this interview. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye. This episode is lovingly dedicated to my dad, Gary, who passed away October 25th, 2024. Your love continues to guide me.
Thank you so much for being part of today's Quantum Quest. We hope this conversation awakens something new within you, a spark, a question, a remembering. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And until next time, keep exploring with an open mind and an open heart. Bye for now.